Welcome back, Gems, to another wonderful episode of the Grateful Gem podcast. I am your host, Jasmine Shannelle, and today's topic is the power of the number one. Stick around because gems are definitely about to be dropped, so get ready. I need everyone listening to this podcast episode to follow us on Instagram at The Grateful Gem Pod and also follow me at Jasmine Shannelle. Don't worry, I spelled everything out and left it in the notes below. Take a look. See you there. Now let's get into this episode. Hi, Gems. Welcome back. I'm so excited. I have a great topic for you guys today. I am super excited about what God has done within the last 2 months of my life so that I can be able to share this experience with you. So I hope that you enjoy this episode. As you heard, we're going to be talking about the power of the number one. God has revealed this to me recently, and I definitely want to just get that message out to you so that if you're going through any kind of circumstance right now and you feel like you are alone, I pray that this message will help you see fit in what God is doing in your life, because you may not understand what He is doing, but He is definitely at work, even when you feel like you can't hear Him and He's left you. So I want you to know, do not be weary, because God is still definitely with you, even when it feels like He has let you aside and you've led yourself astray. I just want to give you hope. I want to give you encouragement. So I'm super excited to get into this topic. But before we get into that topic, I just want to recap on what's been going on recently. So as you guys know, we have wrapped up the F.Y.I series. I'm super excited about that. That was something that God put on my heart. I recorded it and I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that each message was something that you could relate to. I definitely just want to say thank you, because without you guys, I wouldn't be here doing this, because I wouldn't have hope. And I just want to say thank you for every listen. Thank you for every share. Thank you for every subscriber. Thank you for every episode that has been played. We are almost at 500 listens and we are coming up on our year. So I'm super excited about this. So I just wanted to take the time out to say thank you, because we don't often hear it a lot, but I want to be the one to tell you that I personally thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm super excited about getting to this episode. So let's go. So as you guys heard, today we're going to be talking about the power of the number one. So I'm super excited to get this information out to you, because I previously recorded this episode and today is a new day, and I listened to it, and I was just like, okay. So I went back over some information, went back over some sermons, and I looked at it at a different perspective, and God started revealing more stuff to me. So this time I actually took notes so that I don't miss anything, and I pray that anything that I feel like I'm missing or anything that else needs to be said, that the Holy Spirit will lead me to say it. So I'm super excited. So as you know, we're going to be talking about the power of one. So you're probably like, what the heck, the power of one? What do you mean it's just a number? Yes, it is a number, but it means a lot. So first I want to start talking about a story. So many of you may have heard of this story, or you may have heard some of it or know of it or whatever. So I'm going to just give you a little fast story. So there was this lady. She had a dream that she kept getting into an accident, and she would pray to God and say, God, when is this going to happen? What is this? Why am I dreaming about this accident? And so God revealed to her that in that accident, that not to worry, she would be okay, because God was going to take that situation and use it for the better for someone else's life. So time passed by, and she was driving down the road. It was raining, and she got into a really bad car accident. I think she was fine, but she had like a fractured arm or wrist or something, and so she was hospitalized. And her nurse, who was at the hospital she was at, they were having a conversation. Come to find out, he wasn't saved. He didn't believe in Christ. He didn't believe in Jesus. He didn't believe in anything. So this lady's mission was basically to get him and bring him to God. So over the course of time, she, was talking to him about certain things and saying things that God had let her to say. And moral of the story is that sometimes we go through experiences and we go through things that we would rather not go through, but it's to better someone else's. situation. So God only needs one, but he uses many. And in this experience, that is what was revealed to me. God put me recently in an experience, and I'm going to give you a lot of detail about what happened to me. But God used me in a situation where he revealed to me that the power of the number one, the power of just me by myself, because in a season where I had felt like, how could God use someone like me? What am I supposed to do for someone that needs to be led to you? I'm only doing what I can do, and I don't even know how I got here. And I was in a season where I didn't really understand what it was that God wanted me to do. I felt like I was unqualified, but we have to remember that God qualifies us. We don't qualify ourselves. And when people try to disqualify us, that we have to remember that we are qualified by God, the creator. People don't create that. People don't create us. So we have to remember that whenever God is leading us to help someone, that we have to be able to obey, because remember, God only needs one, but he uses many. So he uses all of us to bring people closer and closer, even if it's just one person a day. And by my podcast, I pray that at least one person helps, or not help, but at least I can help one person to help them understand Christ, to let them know God and help them see God for themselves. And sometimes I wonder, why do I go through the things that I go through? But God revealed to me that, and this is crazy because in the F.Y.I series, I also talked about this, that God needs you. You have to know who you are, because God needs you to get people where they're going. And this is also awesome. And I feel like God did it right on time, because this message is coming out and it's telling you the power of one. So just by you knowing who you are, you're able to be created in Christ and created to call people to Christ. So you're able to use what it is that God has given you, your God-given talents. I cannot talk today, guys. Sorry. Your God-given talents to bring people closer to him. So I really thought this was awesome. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. While I was going through this experience, it was not an awesome experience until I got the revelation of what God was doing. And again, I'm going to go definitely into detail about what took place, and how I felt and what was the outcome of everything. So I just want to say that if you have not listened to the F.Y.I series, I do recommend that you go back and play those episodes, because I really think that it's going to be very important, and this will help you also. It ties into the F.Y.I series, because if you don't know who you are, how can you be called the one that God has called to help people get saved and get sent back to him? So I'm definitely excited about this. I was recently having a conversation with my business accountability partner / my friend, my homegirl, and we were talking about everything that's going on in the world. As you know, there's the Black Lives Matter movement, and we solely stand for that. We do understand that all lives matter, but in this time, specifically, Black lives are being put in danger. And so I don't want to get too much into that, because that's not what we're talking about today, because we see it everywhere. And I want to create something where you escape from that, not being ignorant to what's going on, but it gets a bit overwhelming to have to hear about that every day. Everywhere you look, you turn on the TV, you get on YouTube, you get on your phones, you get on Pinterest, you get on social media, and everyone is talking about it. People are at your house talking about it. Your friends are talking about it. People are texting about it. So I don't want that to be this platform. So I don't really want to get more into that. But the reason I brought it up is because we were talking about finding out who is 100% authentic in what they believe in. At the end of the day, I believe in what's right, and wrong is wrong. So over the past couple of days, I unfollowed a few people that I follow on Instagram, which I don't follow a lot of celebrities anyway, but the few people that I did follow, I end up unfollowing a lot of people because of their views on the Black Lives Matter movement. Not because they felt like all lives matter, but because they felt like Black lives did not matter, and these people were Black. And the sad part about that was because their communities and their communities and their success was driven by the Black community. So if you look at the people that I was following, their fan base is basically majority Black. So it's like, how can you sit here and say these things and be ignorant to what's really going on in the world? And then at the end of the day, it doesn't boil down to a race thing. This is a war, spiritual warfare between God and the devil, what's right and what's wrong. So again, we're not going to get into that, but I said that to say we had a conversation about this, and we were talking about being 100% authentic, where there was no fluff. I seen a lot of videos that went out, and it just looked like it was pre-written, it was pre-scripted. You could tell people were reading off prompters, and A lot of people's like, oh, I'm unfollowing people that didn't say anything about the protest. I'm unfollowing people that did this and this, that, and that's your own prerogative. You do what you feel is best for you. But I feel like even if you post about Black Lives Matter, that doesn't necessarily mean that you believe in Black Lives Matter. That just means that you care about your brand. You could be posting about it and then never say anything about it again. And then when it's time to bring it up, you post again. So it's like, how do you really care if you're ignorant to what's going on? And so we were just talking about that, and I was telling her that, I kind of, through everything that's going on, I was just woken up to a lot of things, and I couldn't believe that the way that people's mindset was set up. And I think that racism is just honestly a blunt ignorance, if you want to be honest. I've experienced so many situations just because of my skin color, with the jobs that I've worked with, the people in places that I chose to hang out. But it's not right. And I think that is ignorance. It's just lack of knowledge for people that's living. And that's not something that you were born with. That's something that was trained and something that you learned and picked up. But again, we're not going to get into that because, like I said, it's everywhere. But I just wanted to bring that up because of the topic, no fluff. So that's the kind of mantra I'm going to be going with from now on. I kind of always try to do that, but I just want to make sure that you guys know that the stuff that I'm putting out is not fake. It's not stuff that I just sat here and written. Like I told you guys, I don't pre-script any of my podcasts. I literally just sit here and I record. Like I said, yesterday I sat here and I recorded, and God was like, no, I need you to come harder because that experience was more than what you put out. So I didn't post it, and I sat here and I waited, and God downloaded to me and I wrote it down. And so now I'm going through that to make sure that I get everything out that I need to get out. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to say a lot of stuff that wasn't supposed to be said like this. I wasn't supposed to talk about Black Lives Matter, but I want to let you know that there's no fluff here. This is 100% authentic. I take the time out to deep down into what's really going on, in not only my life, but in these experiences, so that when you go through them, you know how to experience them. So I just wanted to let you guys know that no matter what color you are, what race you are, that I support 100% authentic, and that everything that I'm saying is true. So yeah, now that I got that out of my way. So first off, I just want to start by saying, or second off, because I've done a lot of first offs. But, this story is just remarkable. And to think about it, it's just like, wow. But when I was going through it, I can just tell you that was not the mindset I had. I just want to start by saying, let God use you. Whenever God has put something on your path for him to use you to help someone else, to bring them closer to you, or you could say potentially save someone's life, let God do that. Because let me tell you what's going to happen. When you get yourself in a predicament where you don't allow God to use you the way that he wants to, he goes about it a different way. And for me, that experience was a remarkable experience, but to go through it the way that I experienced it was a bit much. Let's see, where should I start? So I would say for the last 2 months, I have really been battling with a lot of things at once. And I was praying, I was seeking God, I was journaling, or no, I'm lying. I was trying to journal. I could not journal. Literally, I wrote a journal on June 2nd, and it said, I do not know what to say. I journaled a month and a half ago. So really, this has been going on for almost 3 months. I journaled a month and a half ago in my other journal on the last page, and I said, I don't know where to start. And that was also the mantra that I had when it came to me praying and trying to talk to God about my situation, because I didn't know where to start. I felt so many things, and I didn't know exactly what I felt. I didn't know how to convey that without coming off as, being rude and being ungrateful to God, because he's our creator and I don't owe him anything. He doesn't owe, or not, no, I'm lying. He doesn't owe me anything. That came out wrong. He doesn't owe me anything, but I owe him everything. I owe him my life. And so that I should be acting out of gratitude, and I should be grateful, and I should not be complaining. So I was ashamed to even voice out how I really felt. And this was weird for me because I have as Mike Todd would say, a hot conversations with him all the time. Hot, honest, open, and transparent. So I'm able to honestly convey how I feel. If I'm frustrated, I can go to the Lord and say, hey, God, I'm frustrated. I'm upset. I don't understand. Can you tell me this? And so I was listening to sermons over this week and a half. I honestly haven't been listening to sermons. I haven't been watching church. With everything going on, I just think it's hard for me to focus. I don't know. I didn't know if that was a part of what was going on because we've been quarantined. I've been working from home. I've been trying to do my stuff from home while working from home to stay busy. I got a lot of stuff done, but a lot of things that I should have done mentally, I just haven't done because I didn't want to deal with that baggage. Honestly, I didn't want to admit it. I didn't want to face it. So I was thinking, maybe this is all because of everything that's going on. I'm just overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. And so God was like, nope, that's not it. And I was like, okay, that's not it. So I was listening to sermons, but that got old. So I stopped listening to sermons. And to be honest with you guys, I was in a tired phase. What's that song by Timberland Man? Truth is, I'm tired. Options are few. That. Like, I was literally over it. I was tired of praying. I was tired of church. I was tired of God. I was tired of me. I was tired of my emotions. I was tired of feeling the way I felt. And if we're being honest, I was just over it. So I was like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what else to do because everything that I'm doing is not currently working the way that I see fit. So I stopped watching my sermons. I tried to journal again. Like I said, I couldn't get anywhere. I tried to pray. And to be honest, I was praying, but they weren't authentic. They were fluff. And it was just me basically thanking God for waking me up. Thanking you for another day. I'm so excited. Well, really, I wasn't excited. I was not depressed. I was sad and I was all over the place. I couldn't focus. I couldn't think straight. I couldn't control my thoughts. I couldn't speak about how I felt because I was too ashamed of where God had placed me. And I didn't really understand why I was here. I was just acting out of frustration. And that's how my prayers came across, and I knew it. But I was like, okay, I would rather spend time with you in this moment than rather miss out on time when I could have had moments with you. But in the minute of me acting out of emotions, I would hate to just not pray at all. But if we're being honest, it probably was best that I just stopped praying. That's how I felt. But in all, I did the right thing by continuing to come to God and try, because God sees that. So when we give up and we don't try at all, we just kind of throw the towel in and we give up hope. But we have to keep faith, and I think that's the hardest part, especially for myself. Anytime I go through something and I have faith, I have it up until the very last moment. When the moment where I should keep it, I lose it. And from that point, I just go down, and then I'm up, and then I'm down, and I'm up. And that kind of was what this situation was for me too. So as I was saying, I was listening to sermons, and literally all the sermons were the same. It was literally the same message with different people and different titles. It was the same Bible verses. It was the same words being said. And I got frustrated because I'm like, okay, God, I'm trying to hear you, and I'm trying to speak to you, but I cannot hear you. I don't see you. I don't feel you. I'm praying. You're not answering me. I don't know what I'm doing. What did I do to deserve to be in this situation? What did I do that has you forsaken me? And I had enough. I literally had enough. Like I said, this has been going on for about 3 months now, and I had enough the other day. What was that, Wednesday? So I was talking to my accountability partner and my homegirl, and I was telling her, like, hey, have you ever been in a moment where you just don't know what to do? You're praying and God's not answering you. You're asking these questions and God is not revealing the answers to you, or you feel like He has revealed them to you, but you can't decipher whether it's your thoughts or if it's God talking. Have you ever been in a place where you wanted to hear God so bad, but you could not hear Him at all? You felt like you were alone. You felt like He couldn't answer you, and you can't hear Him because of your own thoughts. You can't focus. And so I knew in that moment when I sent that text message that she wasn't going to respond, because I learned that God says, I'm taking you through these experiences. If you're going through this, you can't get information that I'm showing you. You can't get answers from other people that I only have. So you can't go to other people looking for answers. So I was like, okay, well, what do I do now? So I literally threw my phone down. I started back playing the game. So I said, you know what? Okay, so I paused the game. I got up. I said, okay, listen, this is what we're going to do. I'm not going to do this any longer. I'm going to find a sermon, and we're going to go from there. So I've come across this sermon. And mind you, I've been doing this for 3 months, trying to hear God. Normally, I can get into YouTube, get a sermon, get a word, and I'm like, yes, God, come through. I'm journaling. I'm taking notes. I'm praying. Hey, He's talking to me. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of lifestyle I had with God. We talk to each other on a daily basis. Either it's through other people, it's through sermons, it's through science, it's through something. I hear God all the time. So for me to go 3 months without hearing God and being able to hear Him clearly, or hearing Him but not knowing if it was Him, that was not normal for me. And I know that we're all in this mantra of getting back to normal with everything that's going on with COVID-19 and SARS-CoV-2 and all the protesting and all the things that's going on. We're trying to get back to normal. You know, you're telling yourself, hey, I can't wait for this to get back to normal. But we realize it's like, well, what are we really going back to? So I was saying that that's the mindset. I'm like, I'll be glad when I can hear you again, God, when I can get back to a point where I know you. And so I played this sermon by Dr. Tony Evans called Strength in Your Struggles. And of course, I'm going to link the videos that I watched down in the description because they really helped me. And this video specifically, Strength in Your Struggles by Dr. Tony Evans, really was the thing that was my breakthrough. That literally got me up and back to the person that you hear today, because I could not have recorded it. And I think that's also why I couldn't really fully record the episode yesterday, because I was still in shock and I wasn't really fully prepared. So today I'm coming and I got y'all. But if you had seen me 24 hours ago, you would not have saw this person. You probably would have saw this person, but in the inside, I would have been turmoil. I would have been dead. I would have been lifeless, because I'm craving something that I can't get. So I play this episode and literally it starts. The stuff that he's saying, I'm just like, oh my God. And basically his message was saying that God's ways are not our ways. So the way that we look practically, and I say practically with quote air quotes, the way we look at things practically is not how God does things. So God, the things that you go through, you may be looking at them like, well, God, why did you have to take me around the block when I could have just went straight up the street and turned left and I would have been at my destination? But had you went straight up and turned left, you would not have got the experience, and you would not be able to be grateful for where it is that God took you, because you took the easy way around. It was easy for you to get there, so you're going to always think that it's easy for you to achieve the things that you're trying to get. And when you pray to God, he answers you right then and there. How do you know the virtue of patience? How do you know patience when God is always revealing things to you right up front? So when he doesn't answer you, or he's answered you and he's just telling you to wait, what do? So I think that it's really good that sometimes God sends us on a scenic route instead of taking us straight there, because when it's time for us to take a scenic route and we don't know patience and we don't know stop from go when it comes to him, and he's telling us to wait, but we feel like it's time to shoot forward, what do? You know, what do? You prematurely act out of what you know. This is how it's always been. So it's like, okay, God's got to be telling me to go forth. So I think that was really good, because I'm like, okay. And that helped my mindset a little bit, because honestly, the way I was feeling, I'm like, God, why am I going through this? Like, God, why have you forsaken me? Why have you left me? What did I do again to deserve this? Like, what did I do? I'm trying to talk to you. I'm trying to pray with you. I'm trying to seek you, and I can't hear you. I can't feel you. I just don't know what I'm doing wrong. So, and that was another thing Dr. Tony Evans was talking about. He was asking those questions like, you know, how many of us are in a situation where we're frustrated with God, if we can be honest? You know, how many of you don't understand what it is that God is doing, and you see fit for your plan and God sees fit for his plan? But then we have to go back to the word where it says that I know the plans that I have for you. You know, before you were formed in your womb, I already had plans for you. And the things that God sent us through is everything that we're supposed to be doing. And don't ever feel like you're in a place where you should have been farther along or in a different spot, because where you are right now is where you're supposed to be. And even when you feel like you've made the wrong decision, it's not the wrong decision. God already knew what you would do before you did it. So don't ever feel like, oh, I've messed up, or I'm too far away from God to know what's right and make it right, because you're never far away enough from him where he would not want to help you. You just have to know how to get back to him. And at this point, I kind of lost my way, if we're being honest, about how to get back to him. And I just really didn't know what to do, so I did what I know how to do. So, and I think that's very important. Again, when we understand that God's ways are not our ways, it makes a lot of sense, because the things that we would do is not the ways that God would take us. So I'm sitting here and I'm listening to this sermon, and I literally got up and I was like, oh my God, this is the sermon I have been looking for months. I have been trying to get here. I have not been able to hear God. And God, I feel like you are literally speaking through me, or not through me, but to me through this message. Like, you're here. Where have you been? Like, I have so many questions like, God, why did you leave me? What did I do? What's going on? And so um, I was talking to my accountability partner and the next day, and she had finally responded to my text message that I sent her the previous day. And I was like, wow, coincidental. And as you guys know, I don't believe in coincidences. Everything happens for a reason. So God was teaching me in that moment where it was like, you want to call out to your sources. You want to call out to people that you trust to get insight on where it is that I'm taking you. But only I know where I'm taking you. So seek me. Once you seek me, I will give you the instruction to do what it is that you need to do. So I really thought that was crazy how, she responded the next day. And so we were talking and she was giving me like a lot of tips on what to do and stuff like that. And so as we were talking, I heard God say, listen. So the next message that she said, she was saying that, because she was like, I pray for you. And I was telling her like, girl, I listened to this sermon last night and I just feel back to myself. I got up this morning, I prayed. It was awesome. I felt God. God was there. I started journaling. I've journaled again. I have notes now. I can hear God. I can feel him. He's here. I don't know what happened, but I'm back. And so, I was just, telling her, thank you for praying for me, because I was in a point where I couldn't pray for myself, or the prayers that I was praying wasn't sufficient enough. They wasn't able to get me where I needed to go. I was so weak and wounded in a war that I could not fight for myself. So she had to be the person that went up in prayer for me. She had to fight this battle for me, and it wasn't her battle to fight. And that's when God revealed to me the power of one. So by her being a steward and obedient to letting God use her, by going to God in prayer for me on my behalf, because I wasn't strong enough to do so, I was able to come through and get back to the person that I was and come back even better. And so I thought this was great, because I didn't realize that until we started talking. And I tell her all the time, I'm like, girl, you do not know how much God is using you. The things that you say stick with me. And every time I'm going through something, or I'm praying about something, or I'm thinking, trying to unpack a lot of things, I remember the key things that you tell me. And I think that's crazy, because I did not feel this way until we started talking. And so God had revealed to me that, it only takes one. Like I said, God only needs one, but he uses many. So in this situation, I was too weak to defend for myself. So someone of godly counsel was there to go in my place to pray for me, to get me through a breakthrough. And so what that meant for me was a lot, because God has recently put on my heart to help out someone and pray for them. And not only pray for them, but be there for them. And I was neglected to 100% be there for them. I'm willing to pray for them, and I wanted to just be distant. I didn't really want to get too involved. And so oh geez, you guys, this story is it's amazing, honestly, because the way God works, like I said, our ways is not his way. And when I found out what this really was, I was like, God, are you serious? You took me through all this to show me this, but had he just revealed that to me, would I really have learned the lesson? No, I would have not. If we're being honest, I would still have the same mindset I had before I experienced this. So, because I was at a point where I was like, oh, this person, they know a lot of people, and I don't have to pray for him like that. I can pray and just be in prayer for him and care for him from a distance. I don't have to do all these things that God is telling me to do. You know how we are. So I was being obedient, but not obedient, because I wanted to do this because I care about this person, and he's a friend. So I felt like at the end of the day, this is what God has called me to do. You're revealing this to me. Okay, cool. I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it at a distance. He don't even have to know I'm involved. That's literally my mindset. He don't even have to know I'm involved. He doesn't have to know I'm praying for him. He doesn't have to know anything. I just want to help him. So, with God use this situation, I was like, wow, Jesus, because I really didn't understand. I didn't understand why he couldn't pray for himself. And like I said, I had never experienced a point where I was so bad off that I could never pray for myself. Even when I'm down in my deepest thoughts, or when I feel weak, I'm still praying. I'm still going to God in prayer, and I'm seeking him. And the more I don't see him, the more I pray. Like I said, in this situation, I wasn't seeing him, but I still prayed, and I still asked him. There was times where I just sat up and cried at night, and I just asked God, speak to me, please reveal to me, show me, tell me something. And God was silent. And so here I am in a situation where I go from being completely lenient on myself for prayer, not having to have someone else defend on my behalf and go to war for me. So I can't understand what this person could possibly be going through, because I haven't experienced. So I don't understand why this person can't pray for themselves. We all pray for each other, but they can pray for themselves too. Maybe I should just pray a prayer that he pray for himself. So, God had to take me out of my shoes and put me in his. And I had to learn and experience that at the end of the day, it takes one. All it takes is one person. Even if my friend prayed for me one time, that's all it took. Because literally, I was able to get back. So I'm praying barely, and she's praying. So that just goes to show you the power of the number of one. It's a single number, but it has multiple abilities. One person, one prayer, one king, one God. Come on. Like, that was so, oh my God, you guys. I could not. I literally sat here and was in awe because I'm like, God, again, you took me through all of this just to show me this. You could have just said that. Like, you could have just revealed that to me in a dream. Like, you could have, there's many things you could have did, but like I said, God's ways are not our ways. So what I see fit does not really match what God says, because he goes above and beyond to help us understand why he's called us to do what it is that he's called us to do. And honestly, I was in a point where it wasn't that I didn't want to help this person, but I was doubting myself, and I felt unqualified in the area where God had already qualified me to. So it's like, okay, cool, you want me to help this person, but what do I do? What am I supposed to do? Like, I can't even help myself. Here I am, helpless, praying to you. I can't hear you. I can't see you. I don't feel you. I don't know what I'm doing. And you want me to go help somebody else? How? Like, God, how does this see fit? How do you think that this makes sense? There's no way that you could tell me that in your book this makes sense. That's literally the conversations I was having with God. And I just was like, at all, because I literally had to go through this experience to have a different outlook. And I want to let you know that it gets that much harder. Honestly, being able to sit here and talk to you guys about the things that you're going through, and you may feel like, oh, this is right on time, and da-da-da, but it's because I have to experience these things. Everything that I talk about are things that I have either currently experienced or I am experiencing, so that I can give you 100% of how I feel about it and what God has revealed to me for the things that you're going through. And it's harder because it's like, in order for me to speak on these things, I have to have gone through it. So I have to literally be a living testimony to you guys to let you know that you can get through this. You still got this. So for me to sit here and say that I couldn't help this person was an understatement, because God literally had to shift my mindset. Not only my mindset, but he shifted my whole agenda. He shifted my whole experience. I went from being able to pray, talk to God on a daily basis, to now I'm sitting here helpless, and I had to reach out. And let me tell you guys, like I said, I've been going through this for 3 months. Are you loving this episode? Great. Don't forget to leave your feedback by rating and leaving a review on Apple iTunes. Also, don't forget to subscribe anywhere, wherever you're listening to this podcast. And make sure that you follow us on Instagram to keep up in the know of what's going on with the podcast. Okay, let's get back to the episode. And I honestly was going through this whole situation alone. I kind of opened up to my accountability partner about it a little bit. But again, I was just too ashamed to really talk about how I felt, because I just didn't know what I was experiencing, and it was just unknown. So I was like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't know. And I kept telling her, like, I don't know how I feel. I don't know what's going on. I couldn't sleep at night. I was up because my thoughts, like, when I would pray, I would not be calm. And still, you know how people tell you, like, oh, just sit in a room, turn off everything, and just wait for God. And I did that, and my mind was literally on go mode. Like, I could not think about anything but what I was feeling. My emotions had taken over my mind. I couldn't control my thoughts. My mind just lingers to other places, and I'm like, where did that come from? Where did that thought come from? Why am I thinking about this? I'm sitting here watching TV. What does that have to do with this TV? Like, I could not focus, and it kind of scared me, because I'm like, Lord, what's happening to me? And it's crazy, because God said, imagine how you feel through this process. Imagine this experience right here. What if I told you that this person is going through the same thing? They're battling with who they are. They're battling with all of these thoughts, and they can't control their mind. They can't control their thoughts. You're praying to me and you can't hear me, but they're praying and they can't hear me either. So you ask, why can't this person pray for themselves? Because they're not strong enough. Just like in this last 3 months, you weren't strong enough. You had to reach out and get help. And look how long it took you. It took me 3 months to actually open up to someone and say, hey, I can't do this alone. And God said, and I want you to know that all it takes is one. And that one in this situation is you. I need you to get this person where they're supposed to go. And in order for you to do that, I need you to understand why I'm calling you and why this person needs your help. So God had to literally take me into this experience. And like I said, it was a tragic experience because it was not something that I wanted to go through. If we're being honest, but since I know the meaning of what happened, it's powerful and it's remarkable because it shows that God loves us just that much. And it also shows us that how we show up for other people matters, because imagine God dealt with me so good. He dealt with me really bad about this because he also revealed to me, okay, in this moment you were weak and I have made you strong, by being able to have you get over your fears, get over your pride, and speak out to your friend so she can help you, so she can go to war for you. And God said, okay, what if your friend had this same mindset about you? What if she felt like, oh, I'm just going to go ahead and just say a quick prayer, get it over with, pray for her every now and then, make sure she's okay, and just go from there? What if she dealt with this situation the way that you're dealing with what I'm asking you to do? And so I was like, wow, like, God, you're really like beating me up about this. And God was like, this is not me beating you down. I want you to understand that I care. I love you. I love them. I love all my kids just the same. I love you guys that much that it took him putting my life on hold for me to go and do what it is that he's called me to. So definitely, I just want to say again that if God is trying to use you, man, please let God use you, because either it's going to go his way or it's going to go his way. I mean, let's just be real. There's nothing you can do. And it's either you're going to go into that experience and God's going to reveal to you the questions that you are asking God. And that's another thing, because Dr. Tony Evans had revealed to me that you can ask God questions, but you cannot question God. And in this instance, I was doing both. I was asking God questions, but I was questioning him at the same time. God, why are you trying to use me? What am I going to be able to do for this person? Why can't someone else do it? Why am I qualified to do this? I'm not a pastor. I'm not a deacon. I'm not a saint. I don't live the best life. My struggles are struggling with Christianity. I struggle too with faith. I struggle too with who I am, or who I was as a person. And I've just now gotten to a point where I can finally say I'm doing okay, and I just dequalified myself. And God kept saying, this isn't about you. And God sometimes has to take you through other people's situation in order to get you to understand why it is that he's calling you. And again, like I said, if you can do it, do it. But if God's telling you to do something and you're keeping it doing it, you're going to do it regardless, because this is something that God brought to me 5 years ago, or 6 years ago in 2014, and I ignored it. 2014, I really just didn't know what it was. I was just like, okay, this is just coincidental. Like, this is crazy. And then a couple years later, after that, maybe 2017, it came back up when I was in Atlanta. I hadn't spoke to this person, I hadn't seen this person or anything, and it just came back up, and I couldn't shake it. I'm like, okay, and I talked to a couple friends about it, and they were like, oh, this is crazy, something's going on. And then recently, 2018, 2019, it's just been there ever since, and God has just been tugging on my heart, because I'm at a different spot, and God knows that. He's like, okay, you know that I'm calling you to do something, and you're ignoring me. You're being disobedient on purpose. And so my disobedience caused me to go through and have one more experience that I wasn't expecting to have. And it just honestly opened my eyes, because I was listening to a sermon by Sarah Jakes called Tunnel Vision. I'm also going to link that down. That's one that she did yesterday. And that one was really good, because it talked about how God ways isn't our ways, and how we are at a point where we want to give up and we don't see fit on what it is that God is doing. But she said that I only do better. I don't do backwards. I only do growth, and I don't do shrinkage. And I was like, God, this is good. And she said something about I only get set up, but that's just when I pull it back to get shot forward. And I'm like, oh, girl, okay, babysitting the bars. Okay, Sarah, rah, okay. But I was like, God, this is so good. And I was like, I could tell I'm back to me. Like, this experience, I've done what I was supposed to do. I've learned what God wanted me to learn. It took me 3 months, sadly. But I'm here, and it was because of my pride, honestly, because I neglected to reach out and seek godly counsel in this situation. And sometimes we reach out, but we reach out to the wrong people. So you have to know that the person that you're reaching out to is the person that can help you in this situation. So imagine if I had called the wrong person and they never prayed for me. I could still be sitting here in this situation. And then because of that one experience, it caused me to shut down. And now I'm not talking to anybody about it. So that's another 3 months I could have been in this situation, still learning this lesson. So God revealed to me that godly counsel is good, man. Have people that's going to ride for you, that's going to go to war for you, and people that genuinely care. And in this situation, he's saying, Jasmine, I'm telling you what to do, and I'm telling you this because the same way that your friend was there for you, I need you to be there for this person. I need you to step up and stop wasting time and do what it is I called you to do because you're capable. She didn't know she was qualified, but she did it. You didn't know you were going to go through this, but you're here and you saw what was done with the power of one person, one prayer, one person, one kingdom. We're trying to get there. I need you to help me help this person get there. And man, when I tell y'all, when I unpacked this yesterday, I was just at awe because I'm like, God, again, you took me through all of this. Like, you guys, I was struggling. I was feeling insecure. I couldn't control my thoughts. I didn't know what was going on with me. And I'm like, God, is it the company I'm keeping? Like, what am I doing? Like, is it the people I'm hanging around? Are they insecure? Like, what am I doing? Literally, I broke down. I can't tell you how many times I've broken down within these last 3 months because I just could not hear God. And that wasn't like me. And in this situation, I was at a point where I was praying for this person and I would just neglect the other parts. God would tell me to do something else. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So I would just try to push it out. Like I said, God talks to me in my dreams, so he would reveal these to me in dreams. And I was just like, okay, no, I'm not doing that either. So what's the next thing? Like, what else do you want me to do? I don't really want to be involved. So I said I was going to pray. What else you want me to do? And so I guess God just said, okay, I've had enough. You're asking me all these questions, so let me go ahead and give you the answers. And sometimes you have to really pray and think about what you're asking God because he will definitely give you the answer. Was I expected to go through this? No, I was not, but he did it. And like I said, God's ways are not our ways. So we have to definitely make up our mind and make a decision if we're going to be 1 foot in or 1 foot out. And for me, I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And we have to make up a decision if we're going to be both feet in or both feet out. You can't be in and out. You have to be either or. Either you're going to accept the call or you're going to decline it. So if you accept the call, just accept to be aware that when God tells you to move, you're going to move regardless. Whether it's with you moving your 2 feet or God's going to move your 2 feet. And in this instance, God moved the 2 feet for me and I didn't like it. It was terrible. Literally, if you ask my business accountability partner, I can go back and play audio voice messages and screenshot text messages of things that we were talking about, our business calls when my business, I'm like, I'm just lost. I don't have any creativity. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't post. I can't focus. I can't think. I can't pray. I don't know my relationships in life. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sucking. Everything is turning upside down. I'm going through these circles. As you guys know, I talked about that in this series, how I felt like I was going full circle. And that was a part that was just me in this moment. I felt like my life was just literally upside down and I didn't understand because I was in a place where I had done everything God told me to do, or I thought I had. And it took for one person to pray for me, for God to reveal to me this simple message, but so powerful. It took one prayer, you guys. And I felt so bad because it's like, God was like, okay, you say you care about this person. You say you want them to get back to the person that you know, but what are you doing about it? You're going about it the wrong way. You're thinking and making this about you, and it's not about you. It's about them. I'm not asking you to be me. I got me. I need you to get you and get yourself to that person and bring them to me. And we'll go from there. And I think it was crazy because I was like, dude, you've got to be kidding me. Like, again, you took me through all of this to tell me this. You could have just wrote it down on a piece of paper. You could have wrote it on the wall. Like, you could have just had me open the Bible and flip to a script. Like, you could have did that. Okay. So, yeah, definitely how we show up for other people, it definitely matters. So I definitely suggest that if you don't have friends that's praying for you, not just a person that's saying I'm praying for you, but somebody that's going to genuinely pray for you and just pray for you from their heart, because when God hears that prayer, he works on your behalf because he knows what you're going through and he knows that you need him. So this experience was powerful, man. It really changed my mindset because, like I said, I was at a point where I'm like, why do I have to be the one to help this person? And other people was telling me, like, you know, maybe you're the person that God is going to be able to use to get through to this person. And I was like, no, it's not. Like, God can use so many other people. Like, I don't want to be bothered with this. Like, I want to help, but at a distance. I want to pray, but that's it. Like, that's all I'm doing. That's all I can do. I don't want him to know that I'm able to do this kind of stuff, because God's going to be using me all the time. And that's literally the mindset I had. Sad to say, but that's how I felt. And I don't think it had nothing to do with this person, but it just had so much to do with me. And I was down, I was walking out of fear. When I first started unpacking this and God revealed that he wanted me to help, I literally shut down. I was scared. I prayed about it all the time, and God did not change his answer. He said, I want you to do this, so when you ready. And so I feel like he's like, okay, listen, it's not about when you're ready. You're ready now, so let's go. So I shifted and I went through this experience, and literally I'm just day one coming out of this experience, and let me tell you, it feels good to be back to me. Okay? But now this time, I literally, yesterday I woke up, I prayed to God, and I literally broke down. And I was like, God, this is it. This is the experience I needed. I've done it. I'm here. I'm back. Like, I was crying so bad, you guys. And I was like, I feel terrible, because here I am neglecting somebody's spiritual life, somebody's life. And like he said, had my friend done that for me, how much longer would I be suffering? And God was telling me that, the same thing that you're experiencing is what this person is going through. And it's crazy, because I would not bring this up or not talk about it with the people that I've revealed it to and talked to about it. And at certain points they will bring it up, and they're like, oh, I saw such and such and they doing better and da da da. And in my head I'm like, okay, good, my prayer is working. But the minute that I stopped praying, it would just come about the blue. I wouldn't have talked about it for a minute, and then they would just bring it up. It's like, oh, I see such and such, and they not doing too good. Like, I thought they was doing good, but now they going back to the way that they used to be. So, and in my mind, I'm like, like literally, you guys know, and I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna keep you any longer. But one day I was talking to my friend, and she brought it up, and she was like, I thought that things were getting better, but from the looks of it, I don't think so. And in my mind, I'm like, God, I was talking to God, and she was like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. So I'm standing there, we're walking, and I'm talking to the Lord, and I'm like, God, what's going on? Like, I don't get it. I don't get what's going on. Like, what am I doing? Like, and God was just like, listen, Jasmine, stop complaining. I'm telling you to do this, and you're not doing it the way that you're supposed to, and you know that. So stop trying to rush this process and do what it is that I tell you to do. This is not an overnight process. With you, was it an overnight, or was it 3 months? For this person, it could be 3 years. It could be 3 decades before they come back to me, all because you don't want to do what it is I tell you to do. And I was just like, man, okay. So after we got done walking, I prayed about it, and I was like, and honestly, before I met up and before we went out, I was praying about it because I knew what I was doing. I was trying to push it out and just let God give it to somebody else. And God was like, no, I gave it to you. I need you to do this. And so I prayed about it. And so for her to bring that up, I was like, okay, God, you're using her to talk to me, to get to my heart because of what I just prayed. And so to hear that, I was just like, okay, because I was just saying, God, I hear that this person is doing great, da da da. And then for her to say that, I'm like, okay, because I had said, my job here is done. And God was like, no, it's not. I need you to stop thinking that this is a time frame on this person's life. There's no time frame. When you're done, you're done. But at the end of the day, I need you to keep working until I say, job well done. And so I got frustrated. So when I got in the car, I'm like, God, why? Why me? Again, why me? Why do I have to do this? There's something I can do. I pray for this person. They're not working. You hear her. You heard what she said. And I was like, you guys, I was so upset. I'm like, God. And then I text my friend later on that night, and I was like, to be honest with you, I was frustrated when you told me about this person because I'm trying to just push them out. I don't want to hear about it. I really am tired of talking about it. And I had to come back and apologize to her because I'm like, it wasn't even you, girl. It wasn't you that did that. That was God, because I prayed literally about it before we met up. And for that to have happened, I'm like, that was nobody but God. So and I realized, I'm like, the more I prayed, the more people are just like, oh, even my business accountability partner, because I told her about it. She was like, oh, I see such and such, and it looks like they doing better, or I saw the little thing, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then my friend would come back and say the same thing. And then when I stopped praying, or I hadn't prayed, I would hear oh, girl, I saw such and such, and it wasn't looking good. And I'm just like, where is this coming from? We never used to have these conversations before. Why is this person constantly coming up? And so I was like, okay, God, I was one foot in, one foot out. So basically, I said all of this to say that when God is trying to use you, man, let him use you. Be that one person. Be the power of one. Be the one person that's praying for somebody, even if they don't know, even if they never know. Continue to be who you are, but don't go in it one foot in, one foot out. Because imagine if that experience had it been the way that I was thinking about. Imagine if my homegirl was just like, okay, I'm going to have the same mindset that I had towards what God's telling me to do. How much longer would I have been suffering because I couldn't, and I was too ashamed and too afraid to open up to people and talk about what I was experiencing. So I definitely want to tell you that if God places something on your heart, whether it's just to text somebody and say, hey, or whether if he reveals, however God speaks to you, God speaks to me through dreams. He uses other people, any signs, like stuff I'll see, certain things, like God knows how to talk to me, and definitely through dreams, because when I'm awake, I sometimes ignore God. I'm just going to put that out there. So he mostly speaks to me through dreams. So I wasn't unclear of what God was telling me that I needed to do, but I just didn't know how to go about it, and the way I was going about it was not correct. So if you're ever in a situation where God is telling you to do something for somebody, or either something that is right and you are unclear, just continue to seek counsel from him. Continue to get in his word. Continue to pray. Continue to speak out to people, the godly counsel, and people that you trust, so that doesn't go on. Like I said, this started in 2014. We're in 2020 now, and I'm still battling, trying to figure out what it is that God is calling me to do. And I feel like God is like, okay, we're going to get this done this year, but we're not playing no games. So you want to play? I'm going to take you through these experiences. So if you want to keep sitting here acting like you can't hear me and you want to be disobedient, okay, I got you. Like, I'm going to handle that. And not saying that God is a guy of wrath all the time, because no, he's not. But God knows that I did this stuff on purpose. I literally transitioned my thoughts to where it's like, I'm not thinking about this person. I'm not thinking about what you told me to do. I'm not dreaming about it. I would literally shut my mind out at night so that God could not talk to me. And there was time when God talked to me, I woke up and act like he ain't saying nothing. Like, I'm being serious with you guys. And that was just a point where I was like, man, imagine if this person is really praying and trying to find themselves in God and they can't hear. Like, I knew what I was going through. So imagine how long, if this was going on for years or decades, I don't know how long it's been going on, but for me, 3 months was enough. 1 day was enough. The first day I was like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? Like I said, I felt like I was not myself, but yesterday I felt, when I heard this sermon, you guys, a weight was lifted off my chest. So again, I said all of this to say, when God's trying to use you, man, let that man use you, okay? Make up your mind that you're going to be all in or all out. Don't be halfway in, because it's going to not only affect whatever God is telling you to do, but it's going to also affect you, because you're going to go through experiences that could have been avoided had you just listened to God. But in the meantime, if you're unsure about what God is telling you, seek him, seek out godly counsel. Don't just go to any and everybody with God's word, because some people will lead you astray and they'll tell you that, oh, that's nothing, like God doesn't do that. But you know what God's talking to you. You know what God's tugging on your heart. And when he's tugging on your heart, man, don't ignore it. Whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling, write it down. Get in his word. I thought about, I was listening to the sermon, and he brought up Isaiah 40:27. And it says, why do you say, O Jacob, and speak, O Israel? My way is hidden from the Lord, and my just claim is passed over by God. Have you not known? Have you not heard? The everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, neither faints nor is weary. His understanding is unsearchable. He gives power to the weak, and to those who have not might, he increases strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall not mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. And you're probably like, girl, what did you just say? Basically, what I'm saying is wait on God. When you're in a season where you feel like God does not hear me, wait on God. Continue to pray. Continue to seek him. Continue to speak out to people that you trust and people that knows God and that knows how to fight for you when you can't fight for yourself. Because had it took one wrong person in that situation, this could have went a whole bunch of different ways. I could still be sitting here trying to figure out what I'm going through. And I think it's so powerful because you have to be focused, man. I could not focus, you guys. I could not. I was so, and even my sister, we were talking a couple months ago. She was like, "What? You just sit down. Like, you can't sit still." And I was like, "I can't." My mind, like, you guys, to keep busy. I literally redecorated my whole apartment. I shopped. I did so many things so that I did not have to sit and be quiet because I didn't want to hear what I had to say, and I didn't want to hear what God had to say, and I didn't want to hear that there was something else that I needed to do because I was over it. So I kept busy, and then I ran out of things to do. So I sat here, and then I made time for God. But in that time, I still did not want to hear what he had to say. So be ready, because God only needs one, man. He only needs one person, and that one person can be you. But God uses many. He uses many of us. So whenever God puts something on your heart, definitely answer the call and answer it with all your heart, because you never know what that other person or what that experience is going to cause for you. And I just want to say that this experience was a real one. It literally changed my whole perspective, honestly, about a lot of things. And I honestly couldn't believe that God did this to me. If we being real, I can't believe that God took me through this. Like, Jesus, stop playing. Get me up out of here. But I'm definitely glad that it happened because I have a better outlook on it. So I hope this helped you. I hope that it resonates with you in some way, some shape. If God has been telling you to let go of people, if God has been calling you to another job, if God has been calling you to another city, if God has been calling you to move, or God been calling you to buy another car, or pay off some loans, or build your credit, create a budget, like whatever it is that God's telling you to do, man, just do it. Because I'm telling you, you're going to come at a point where you're going to continue to tell God no, and God is going to say yes every time. And he's going to force you and make you do what it is that he's telling you to do. So either you be obedient or you be disobedient, but at the end, it still ends up in obedience. Because remember, how we show up for other people and ourselves makes a difference. It matters. You have to make up your mind, let God use you, and remember that God's ways are not our ways. I'm definitely excited that I got this message out to you guys. I hope you love it. Don't forget to share it with someone that you think could use it. I know we're going through a lot right now, so share this information. Let somebody know you care. Let somebody know you're praying for them. If God reveals something to you or somebody crosses your mind, pray for them. That's like last thing, I swear. There's this girl that I went to high school with, and me and her got back in contact a couple years ago, and then we stopped talking. Nothing happened. We just stopped talking. And then the other day I thought about her and I wanted to text her, but I was like, no, I'm just thinking about her. Like, the last time I did that, it didn't go so well. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to text her. So then she sent me something on Instagram, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so at all, because I was just thinking about you yesterday and I wanted to text you, but I didn't. And she was like, oh my God, I wanted to text you too, but I didn't remember what happened with us, and that just goes to show you, like, there was something there that was, she could have needed me to text her that day, and for whatever reason I didn't do it, because I was just like, okay, the last time I did this, it didn't go so well, so let's just not. So stop worrying about what happened previously, because this time when you do it with God, and God will make a way. There will be times where you can't do it in your own strength, so you have to lean on God. You have to wait for God, and that's going to be the hard part. I think that's also a hard part with this whole situation for me. I have to literally wait on God for him to tell me when to move, because I don't know how to do this on my own, and I don't want to do it on my own. So remember this, and whenever you have to go through this experience, you will be equipped. If you haven't experienced, just keep living. You'll get there. But I just want to say thank you guys for listening. I love you. I am so excited. I hope that this helps you, bless you in some type of way. Again, if you haven't heard the F.Y.I. series, go back. I'm going to link more episodes in the bottom of the episode notes so that you can hear some things that's linked with this topic. And I want to say thank you. Keep shining as the gems you are. I love you, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye.